every year it seems like we see the same teams in the NBA Finals.
Historic 2020 NBA championship belongs to the Los Angeles Lakers.
And now the Golden State Warriors, 6 NBA Finals in 8 years.
For the 17th time, a record, your Boston Celtics.
It's almost like these teams are destined to win year after year. Well, they kind of are. Most big market teams tend to have the advantage over their smaller market counterparts. In fact, only 7 NBA championships in the last 22 years have been won by a small market team, and all 3 of these teams have had only one thing in common. The 2021 NBA Finals was the 15th NBA championship won by a small market team. And as we know, small market teams tend to be at a disadvantage in the NBA landscape. So how did the Milwaukee Bucks rewrite NBA history and win an NBA championship? They followed a blueprint. This blueprint was created by other small market teams before them, like the San Antonio Spurs and Cleveland Cavaliers. So you might be wondering, what defines a team as a small market? For this video, we'll be defining small market teams as teams with smaller TV markets and metro areas. Now, like I mentioned before, the Milwaukee Bucks followed a blueprint that was created before them. This blueprint is the blueprint that all small market teams must follow to win an NBA championship. No exception. You must follow this to a T. The first and most important step to even make this blueprint seem possible, you must acquire a generational talent. I'm talking LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kevin Durant, and a couple other players. This is the most important key because if you look at the past NBA championships, only one of them has been won by a team that did not have a top 5 player on their squad. Almost every championship in the 2000s has been won by either Kobe, Shaq, LeBron, Curry, Kevin Durant, or Giannis Antetokounmpo. So without a top 5 talent, it is almost impossible to win in this league. But acquiring this talent is difficult for any team, especially for a small market. For these teams that we have deemed small market, there's only one way to really acquire these players, and that is through the NBA draft. Because unlike their bigger market counterparts, they don't have the luxury of signing these players in free agency. As a matter of fact, there's only been once when a small market team has stole a generational talent from a bigger market, and that's just because LeBron James was born in Cleveland, Ohio. And you can kind of kiss your chances goodbye at trading for one of these players because usually these teams don't have the assets to get a player like LeBron or Kevin Durant on their team. So this leaves only one option available, and that is the NBA draft. The Milwaukee Bucks were fortunate enough that Giannis Antetokounmpo fell to them at the 15th pick. And maybe if they were a little bit worse or a little bit luckier on draft night, they might have not even got Giannis and they might have ended up with a top 5 pick and made the same mistake like the Cleveland Cavaliers that year, picking the #1 overall pick to be Anthony Bennett. It just shows you how hard it is to even get a guy at this level in the NBA draft. But picking the right guy is only half of the battle. Now you have to hope that this guy develops into the player you want him to be. When the Bucks originally drafted Giannis, it was not a home run. He was skinny and had a lot of major holes in his game. This was not a guy that people believe could lead a franchise to an NBA championship. Many small markets would have taken these first 2 to 3 years as a sign to move on and try to go find somebody else. But the Bucks stuck with their guy. And that faith would pay off. Giannis would work on his body every year and work on his game twice as hard and would become one of the best players in the entire league. Which is the second part of the blueprint. You must develop this young star into a generational talent. And even after all that, you drafted the right player, you got him to be a generational talent. Now you must go through the most dreaded part that any small market team ever has to go through: free agency. Part 3 of the blueprint is a very crucial one. Do not lose your generational talent to a bigger market team. Coming up on Giannis' contract year in 2020, the Bucks had to get in a situation that was familiar for a lot of small markets, dealing with the media trying to push their player out of their city. Whenever a generational talent is on a small market and it's their contract year, we can almost count on the media creating a narrative that this player is unhappy here and he wants to go to a bigger market team. We have seen this at the superstar level with Anthony Davis being forced out of New Orleans and LeBron James leaving Cleveland. We've even seen this at the all-star level with the media pushing Paul George out of Indiana. You're fighting two fronts when you're a small market team. Not only are you fighting to keep your player here, you're also fighting the media to destroy these narratives that a player is unhappy. And this is exactly what the Milwaukee Bucks had to deal with. There was rumors swirling around that Giannis was unhappy and wanted to go to a team like the Golden State Warriors. And there was never any proof to these rumors, as the media just wanted to see Giannis on a team that would make them more money. And well, unfortunately for small market teams, it works. We never see big market teams lose their star player to smaller markets, but for small markets, it happens every offseason. And Milwaukee was able to weather the storm and keep Giannis in Milwaukee and not have him following in the footsteps of his peers and leaving for a big market. That's because the Bucks mastered the last and one of the most important parts of the entire blueprint. Step 4, you must build a winning team around your generational talent. Even with Giannis being as great as he is, there are places where Giannis's game isn't the best. And the Bucks were able to realize that before it was too late and got the perfect players to complement Giannis's game. Along with the right role players, the Bucks were also developing another all-star next to Giannis and Khris Middleton. And with Middleton and Giannis there, the Bucks were able to bring in one more missing piece in 2021 to put this team over the top. Bringing in Jrue Holiday from the New Orleans Pelicans, now this team was looking like a championship squad. This was opposite from what the Cavs had did in 2010 with LeBron James. Their failure to develop and acquire players that would help LeBron James's game out forced them into losing him for absolutely nothing to the Miami Heat. When developing a winning team, small market teams have literally no room for error. They have to be absolutely perfect, that this player fits their scheme, that this player is likable to their generational talent, and that this guy can lead them to a championship. If not all three of these boxes are checked in, they could lose their player for absolutely nothing. So making what the Milwaukee Bucks were able to do in 2021 even that much more significant, because they were able to complete this blueprint. They developed their young star, they avoided losing him in free agency, and they built a winning squad around him. And in result, they were able to do something that only two other small market teams had done in the past decade: win an NBA championship. We have seen other small market teams that are following this blueprint, but the chances of winning are still slim to none. So to see the Milwaukee Bucks actually get over that hump was something magical. And they were able to bring hope to other small market teams that if I follow what you guys did, I could potentially win an NBA championship. So comment below which small market team you think will win the next NBA championship. And make sure you check out my last video on ring culture.